I want to just really thank the community as much as I possibly can for helping us hit Twitch affiliate and getting the top 10 Nova Drift upgrades video up to almost 50 views within 2 days, which is just incredible. Both things are huge milestones and accomplishments, and I just thank you all so much. You know, it's been just a wonderful outpouring of support, and you know, even though this series itself doesn't have the highest viewership, I know that those of you who are watching do enjoy it, and we're definitely going to keep rolling with it. So, jumping in, this is a couple days after I recorded the last stuff. Based on where I'm at, I'm going to try to record 4 to 5 episodes in one go here, kind of see where we can get to. So the biggest thing is we've got 4 contracts here that we are easily able to do. Now, granted, there is a problem here. I have done enough escort missions in this game to come to the conclusion that I will never ever do another escort mission in Battletech, or really any game ever, because escort missions are terrible, and I'm tired of failing them because the AI logic sent out their vehicles ahead of my mechs and got themselves slaughtered before I could reposition to block the path. So we will do no escort missions unless we absolutely have to. Ambush convoy, totally fine. Battle, love it. Battle, love it. And then we'll probably head to Sacramento on sending a message, destroy base. Totally cool with that. So why don't we start with the 2 1 skull missions, and then we'll do the 1.5 skull. We'll probably have some repair costs on that one, and that way we can be traveling to Sacramento with the repairs in progress. And we'll probably try to do some mech modifications as well. Our highest priority at the moment, beyond any shadow of a doubt, is we need to get a heavy. It's not that heavies are super strong or anything, but we want to be able to step up to those 2 skull missions where we get better salvage and better cash payouts. And we really need someone that can take at least a little bit of a beating before we get there. So looking at where we are right now, we don't even have any heavy salvage whatsoever. So we've got a little bit of work to do. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into interdiction here. It's ambush convoy, so 1 skull, not too terribly worried about it. We'll probably go money over salvage on this one. In fact, honestly, even if there is good stuff, we are not in a very good spot when it comes to cash, to say the least. So this is probably a good place to start. We actually should move the person with sensor lock over to the Vulcan. And just a reminder of what we have weapon-wise: Nub PPC and UAC 5, AC2 large laser, PPC and LRM 5, and small MG, medium laser MG. This one needs to change, but the ideal scenario would be to get a small or medium coil onto the Vulcan. It works out really well. And so I think we've talked about the large laser a lot, how I keep going back and forth, and even though I do think that large lasers are legitimately just worse versions of medium lasers, the one and only case where large lasers are acceptable is on snipers, because they have almost double the range of medium lasers. And so for something like this blackjack, it's actually okay to hold a large laser because it doesn't add too much to the heat and it can hit from a pretty long ways away. And it also allows us to keep the armor relatively low, whereas if we put medium lasers on something with AC2s or AC5s and we never send it close enough to use the medium lasers, they're going to waste. So that's the one and only time where I am actually okay with large lasers, and as it sits right now, I'm kind of okay with the loadout we have on our blackjack. I'm really sorry about the yawning. I don't know why that's happening, considering I literally just had some more of my caffeinated tea, basically as if I was getting ready for a stream, because I'm basically going to be recording enough of this to fill out what would essentially be a stream length type setup. So I don't know. Maybe after this I should probably take an allergy pill or something. My nose is maybe a little bit stuffy, causing some yawning, oxygenation type things in the brain. So for ambush convoy, I usually don't spend too long trying to flank around. This is where I just want to get the Vulcan up there as quickly as possible. So that's our intercept point. Our denial zone is up there. So realistically, we should be heading this way and try to catch them in these two gaps right here. So I think that's where we're going to start heading to. So let's just get everyone into cover here in case we are spotted.
I'm walking here.
And so I believe that the convoy is starting over here. So we will probably see them on this go, which is okay. But again, I'm going to prioritize moving more laterally here and try to cut them off in this gap more so than in this gap, because then it's easier to position in basically this little choke point right here, because this is where the road goes through a really narrow section, and it makes it easy to stomp on the vehicles and gives us a lot of protection from incoming fire. So mineral fields are very good stuff. Let's grab the Vulcan, get the Vulcan up to a point where it can easily maneuver through this little gap here. And then we'll start positioning the rest of our crew, or the rest of our lance, I should say, to jump in on this point. Now, granted, we do have to worry about the other mineral field there, but that should be okay. I think what we want to do is have the Vulcan sweep around here. It really all depends on the enemy's positioning. So at the moment, our closest range is obviously the Vulcan. Our second closest range is going to be the Centurion. So I think we may even want to get a little aggressive here and throw the Centurion this way. Okay, so they are already up on the road. We're behind the 8-ball on this one. So we need to start taking shots on the enemy mechs while we continue to do things like get our Vulcan up on the flank here. We could get the Blackjack in range for a shot, but not right this second. What we need to do is get the Blackjack up on one of these two pillars, and then it can just snipe the whole way on this road. PPC and LRM-5, that's going to be a similar setup. We're going to want to station them up here, get the Centurion kind of, not necessarily around the back, but kind of sort of around the back. So I have a new naming scheme for the mechs that has helped me a lot. It's not as important with where we are now because we don't have a lot of super expensive weaponry or anything like that. But essentially, it's a way to understand what type the mech is, which we already know. So maintain that nomenclature along with the range that the mech should be in, the facing direction. So should we have left side facing towards enemy, right side facing towards enemy, or center facing towards enemy, and then whether or not it has jump jets. So we're probably going to do some renaming after this, assuming I remember. When I was trying to do the renaming the other day on my solo playthrough, I think it was like 5 or 6 missions of me saying, oh, I need to do the renaming after this before I actually remembered. So looking at this, there is a Javelin right here that's very ready to get beaten up. And fortunately, we have all of our actions in Initiative 3. So I think what we're going to do first is continue pushing our Vulcan all the way around. And the Vulcan's going to be the main flanker here. So like this vehicle, we actually want to let it run right into the Vulcan to stomp on it. I think now we want to try to... Okay, so we can't get the Blackjack up on one of these pillars this turn. So I think what we do is go ahead and jump in and throw a couple AC2s at it. So where are our AC2s? AC2 ammo, large laser. There's one on each arm, so this is definitely a center-facing mech. So for the Javelin, I mean, I kind of don't want to use the large laser here because of the 50%, but it's not too much heat. We do kind of have to worry about the desert biome, but I think I'm okay with the 50% on that one. Didn't end up hitting, but that's totally cool. We were able to get both AC2 shots in there. And so also, you know, AC2s are fine for now, but I ideally would like to just drop the large laser and bump up to an AC5 on each arm. Just from a pure damage per ton perspective, it's significantly better. So our Vindicator, we can actually get it up into the forest here. There's a 4 evasion setup. We get some good spotting. PPC is on the right arm, and then the LRMs are in the left torso. We'll probably stay center facing, but with a little bit of a left bias. Try to keep the PPC safe. So fire starters can be a little bit of a pain. We're not going to worry about the Galleon. Like, our Vulcan has that covered under lock and key. We did jump, so we got a little bit extra heat on here. Definitely PPC LRM5, do what we can. LRM5s are kind of useless. However, my solo playthrough, I did pick up an LRM5 with, it was a +++, so, or a, no, it was just a ++, but it had a bonus 50% crit. I'm like, yeah, it may only be 5 missiles, but I'll throw that on something that can benefit from the extra crit chance. So again, on this one, honestly, I would like to move and shoot, but I don't necessarily want to generate the heat, and we already have such a solid shot here. We don't even need a called shot. I mean, with 20 CT armor left, or structure left, snub PPC on its own should get there. Like, we don't even necessarily need the UAC-5 on this one. So I actually think I'll just take this. Because we only need 2 shots of the 5 to hit center. It probably will. Surprisingly didn't get there, but I'm glad that we saved the heat. Unfortunately, the Javelin is going to get to act again before our next turn, so maybe we should have just gone ahead and, you know, made sure that we eliminated it. But those are the risks you take, you know. Early heat management, maybe not as important as later heat management, but I know we do probably get to the point with that mech in a desert biome where we're just using the UAC-5 and can't use the snub anymore, and that's over half of its alpha damage gone.
Barely hit, Commander.
We definitely do want to start eating these vehicles as well, because we do kind of have to deal with the fact that, as much as I don't want to admit it, they are using a lot of rockets, and that can be a potential issue. So our Vindicator is the one getting beat up here, and I'm glad that we dropped it into the forest, so we got that bulwark on there. 2 fire starters, not in close enough range to do anything other than medium lasers. Works for me. So this Vindicator, I mean, where did we take damage? Honestly, like, barely any whatsoever. Did take a little bit in the right arm, so we'll kind of have to keep an eye out for that. Again, I think we don't want to rush our Vulcan in there too quickly. We could jump here, and then we would be able to actually throw a full volley at this guy, and we'll have a bunch of evasion pips and be in the forest. So I actually think that's going to be okay, because I don't think the other mechs are going to turn and go after our Vulcan. Maybe he can draw some of this missile fire away as well. So front armor 41. We really don't need to hit with everything to get there, and we did just jump. I think just to make sure that we get this out of the way, I'll go ahead and use all of it. Yeah, we weren't able to get every shot into front armor, unfortunately. You know, had we reserved, we would have been able to just come stomp it, which would have been better. Because now next turn, we're going to have... Had we done this correctly and reserved, then we could stomp it this turn, stomp the Striker Narc next turn, and then just keep stomping. Because now we wasted a turn almost killing it, but not quite. Was a little bit of a waste. So this Javelin is very, very damaged, but unfortunately not dead. And so you see only 1 of the 5 snub shots hit it, whereas we would have had another chance of UAC, you know, knocking out a torso or something. So I think what we probably want to do here... Gosh, 4 evasion pips, though.
Waiting for orders.
It's a tough decision. I mean, the problem is I don't want to jump with the Vindicator, but we don't have any good targets here because of evasion pips. So I think what we're going to do is do this. We only need one missile to hit it in center torso. Do I think it's going to happen at a 25% chance? No, but it is also going to get our heat back down. Yeah, didn't get there, dropped evasion by 1, and then we'll get the blackjack in position to maybe kill it. Very low percentage chances. Heat generation, still in an okay spot. I honestly think just go ahead and go for the called shot center torso. Still low percentages, but you got to take what you're given. Because now, our only other option is our Centurion, who doesn't have a shot right now. And so we would have to jump into the forest for some, again, low percentage shots. If we just fire the snub, I mean, I think we take just the snub shot again and then focus on firing the UAC. So we hit everything except the center torso again. See, our Vulcan is going to take a good chunk of the missile damage from the vehicles on this one. The Javelin's going to get another turn. So I think, you know, if I had to rate how we've been playing this battle so far, I think I'd probably give it like a C+. I think that the initial strategy was good, but our execution on a tactical level has been very subpar. There's multiple mistakes that have been made. And I mean, granted, it is my first Battletech mission of the night, but in the past week and a half, or past 2 weeks, I have 95 hours in the game, so I probably should be doing a little bit better. Yeah, the heat getting generated on the Vindicator is obviously very bad, and that's why you should focus down the fire starters, especially in a desert biome, but, you know, alas. So, just start stomping. I mean, you got to start the process at some point. Our Vulcan will be able to stomp all of them very, very easily. We actually shouldn't have generated the heat there. So I'm not worried about that. Everyone else can focus on taking down the other targets, but you can see we just got peppered with another volley of 12 SRMs, which ideally would not have. Plus it got to jump. It has another 4 evasion pips. And we could sensor lock, but our sensor lock is on our Vulcan, who is busy stomping. So, you know, things aren't necessarily as good as they could be. So focusing on the fire starters is probably the best option, but again, when the Javelin is so close to dead, I'm like, I just want to get it off the face of the planet. We don't have a called shot, but I think you just fire the snub PPC and hope that you get the Javelin down, and you don't, because it's also in a mineral field, so it legitimately was the single worst target we could have gone for. Whereas this fire starter, we actually have some decent percent shots on it. So we're heat neutral on this shot without jumping, which is actually perfect. So we'll just take those not super high percentage shots, but take what you get. And then for the Vindicator, I mean, at this point, we can't even fire the PPC, I don't imagine. No, we can, and, you know, we're in short range for the LRMs, which, honestly, don't even bother. Just shoot what you got, and now we're spreading our damage out, which is also like a cardinal sin in this game. Generally a cardinal sin in most turn-based games. So I think our execution is about as flawed as it possibly could be, even though I do think we had a pretty solid strategy. I think we cut them off at a good point. I think our Vulcan, because of the Narc Beacon, is actually going to end up taking some structural damage here. We're going to have some repair costs. Somehow, still hasn't had its armor broken, but I guarantee you that whenever we check it, it is going to be a little bit low. Our Vindicator is probably going to take some damage here at some point as well. Bulwark is putting in great work, but only do so much. And here comes overheat on the Centurion. So there is some structure damage from overheating. And the other fire starter is probably going to do the same thing. Oh, it's hitting our Vindicator in the back. Oof. And structure exposed in the rear. So this went from decent to bad to terrible a lot quicker than I realized. So we can easily go kill this Striker Narc. Where are we damaged? We're damaged on the left side, and unfortunately that's the side we're going to have to show, because otherwise we're going to show rear armor, which actually hasn't taken any damage yet, so maybe that's okay. So hopefully we can go stomp this. That's 67 rear armor. We're going to need to still fire every weapon. Because a stomp on it... Well, no, a stomp on its own is still double damage, so yeah, we're good. You got to remember that melee attacks are double damage against vehicles.
Let's get this done. That's a kill.
I think having her Vulcan on vehicle smashing duty was like a perfectly fine thought. It's just, again, poorly executed because of the fact that we missed that first shot, and now, like, our Vulcan is our best flanker for eliminating enemies, and we're not using it for the role that it's actually best at right now. So, at this point, I think we probably just have to start brawling with everyone except the Blackjack, who unfortunately no longer has a shot on the Javelin, who is sitting here in a mineral field, granted, but I think we need to scooch back and get a shot on it. That's going to be our best chance to kill it this turn. We finally got the Javelin off the field, and then I think we just got to do a couple melee attacks here because we're overheating. Probably focus down the Firestarter that is already damaged. See if we can knock that torso off. That'll stunt a good chunk of damage. We only have one melee attack here, but we will just barely make it back down below the overheat threshold. That didn't even destroy anything. You hate to see it. So we're going to have to do this and potentially lose the right torso, which is only going to lose LRM-5s, granted, but, I mean, you still hate to see it. Okay, so we were able to destroy the CT. We did get one Firestarter off the field and the Javelin off the field. So we're getting back ahead of the curve, but yeah, there we go. There's some structure damage onto the Vulcan, as expected. Probably going to take just a little bit more from this striker. Not too much. Like, I don't think we're going to lose any weaponry or anything, but still less than ideal. So this Firestarter is going to hit the Vindicator again. More structural damage, but fortunately nothing has broken off. That was the primary concern. So we can go, I mean, they're both carrying the same thing, an SRM-6 and an LRM-10. So kill the one that is further ahead. And I guess keep your back to the enemy. That was a miss. So that's actually really bad. That's incredibly bad, and I think we may even want to pivot our Blackjack to try to start helping over here. Although I think it's a little too late for that, unfortunately. So yeah, just go ahead and shoot the Firestarter, I guess. That's pretty bad. Not gonna lie, that's a bad position to be in. So we're just gonna melee this dude twice. Because again, we're not necessarily in a position where we can afford the heat to fire any weapons. I mean, we could possibly fire the UAC-5 if we were in position. We would have to step back as well. I honestly, like at this point, yeah, it's potentially 90 damage, but if we just go for the melee attack, which we can't do, we can't melee it because it's hovering in the middle of the air, apparently. Well, that's actually very unfortunate. We're going to need to move our Centurion back and either choose a forest for some damage reduction or an evasion pip. I think we'll just take the damage reduction. That puts it at not within minimum range for the UAC-5. And I think that for 90 damage, I think this is where you called shot CT and hope that you yeeted into the stratosphere. Which we did not. We got kind of close. 17 HP left on that. I'm going to operate under the assumption that doing this will net us literally nothing, because we can't fire our PPC without overheating. We can fire the LRMs with a 30% chance to hit, and we would need 4 of the 5 to hit. Sorry, no, we would need all 5 to hit center torso. Okay, so that's pretty rough. That was a bad turn. Fortunately, that vehicle decided not to move forward, so we got a little bit out of jail free here, but... So we'll go chase the other vehicle. I think we should still be able to get in a melee attack on it. If we can kill the fire starter this turn, then absolutely called shot center torso with the blackjack. There we go. Okay, so we got the fire starter out of the way. Now we just need to get rid of the rest of the convoy. You cannot see that vehicle, so we're just going to have to come up and blast it, unfortunately. Legitimately the only option we have. Rear armor is the best place to hit it, but it's going to hit a variety of places. I think we will also called shot rear armor on this one. We had one miss. I don't know which one missed. Probably the medium laser. It's only stripped off about half of the armor that we needed to. We can get some direct fire with the indirect fire with the LRMs, and that's about the only thing we can do. And that's a 35% chance to hit. I think we just got to take what we're given. And then the Centurion can't come even remotely close to attacking any of them. So I guess just put it there and hope that maybe we can get shots next turn. Because like the one that's in the front right now is going to get pretty far. Because it's on a road. Like, we're going to have to kill it this turn. It escapes next turn and we fail the ambush mission. And don't get me wrong, like, ambush missions are almost as bad as escorts, but at least you are not forced to keep things alive. So we can get the melee in here. If it doesn't miss, then we've killed it. Okay, there we go. We're good, and then we can easily crush the other vehicle because it stopped moving. This was a lot dicier than it should have been. Fortunately, like I said, I'm going to try to record more episodes after this, so it won't be nearly this bad, or so we can hope. Still can't get into position, huh? Well, let's just go ahead and jump there and then brace. Blackjack, I mean, just jump down and get ready to start sprinting, I guess. And then the Vindicator... Can you even jump anywhere that you have an indirect fire shot? It does not appear so, no. So just jump down here and get ready to move, I guess. It is kind of nestled in there, and it's not actually in sensor range of anything, which hurts it a lot.
Okay, everybody. Let's hit him where it hurts.
So we'll send our Vulcan back down there to, you know, keep an eye on it.
Coordinates confirmed. Target acquired.
We'll just shoot whatever we can shoot at it, and it'll die eventually. So this gets us a straight shot with everything. We'll probably just fire the UAC-5, because if we fire both, we're in a bad spot. There we go. Okay. So we were able to complete the mission. We took a little bit of structural damage on 2 different mechs, maybe 3. We had some overheat issues because 2 fire starters is a little bit of a pain to deal with, especially in the desert. We should have killed them first. Yeah, 3 mechs that need repair. And again, like, I really don't care about salvage on that one. If we do end up getting a fire starter, we'll probably just sell it. I don't tend to care for them that much because Vulcans can do everything that a fire starter can do, but better. I mean, yes, I do realize that a fire starter can hold 6 flamers, but I've run that build before and it's actually not that great. A Vulcan has double the support range, and I think that is far more beneficial than the extra 2 support slots. So structural damage on the Centurion was just 5 across the board. It was 10 across the board on the Vindicator, plus a little bit more upper right torso. And then our Vulcan took, looks like very little actual structural damage. A little bit on the arm and torso there. No leg, no CT, no head, and nothing on the right side. So, like, we certainly could still do another battle. I don't know that we're going to want to do the 1.5 skull, though. We'll take a closer look. because it's last mech standing. I believe that this one is another company or another lance will drop, and so we'll have an opportunity to let them kind of fight each other, and then we'll jump in. But that's also why it's 1.5 skull. I think that it ends up being like 2 medium mechs per lance. Trap Sprung is also like a fairly straightforward one. I believe that this one, I mean, it legitimately is a trap, and the reason why the money is so low is because the salvage is so good. So we're not going to do price of discretion. I think we'll do Trap Sprung. If we end up in a bad position after this one, then we definitely will want to consider just repairing and getting out of here. I think we keep the loadout the same. We probably have some decent XP. We should be looking at leveling up our mech warriors. Oh, we're 30 minutes in. We'll save that contract for the next episode. Let's go ahead and do the level up first. Crack shot. I mean, I'm all about that bulwark. So just start that process, and we'll figure it out from there. Silver Eagle. I think piloting, sure footing is good for you. We'll actually go ahead and give you each of those as well. A little bit more in those. Mothership. You already have bulwark. We probably are going to want at least one person with breaching shot. So we'll go ahead and get multi-shot on you. Silver Eagle is good. Gumdrop. Oh, we were already working on you being that way. That's fine. We'll pivot to you being guts and tactics. So we get another sensor lock. And a minus indirect fire penalty, which is nice. And then shutter, bulwark. I mean, I'm not going to take bulwark on everyone, but it's kind of hard not to. I also have some injuries that we got to deal with. Okay, so we are actually going to leave the episode off here. I got a little excited, a little ahead of myself. We are going to do Trap Sprung in the next episode, which I'm going to do right now. But I'm going to go ahead and cut this recording off. Once again, thank you all so much for the wonderful support in the community. I'm excited to be a Twitch affiliate and have more options to engage with you guys in the community, as well as thank you again so much for the just incredible view count on the top 10 Nova Drift items video. Let me double check it real quick, because I did set a little goal where if we hit 50 views by midnight tonight, which is Tuesday night, you're watching this on Wednesday, that I would do a bonus top 10 this week. Let's see if we have hit that 50. I'll kind of check it through each video. Looks like we are 2 views away, sitting at 48. So I'll keep an eye on that. But anyways, that's going to do it. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this episode, the single best thing that you can do to support me and support the channel is clicking the like button. That sends a message to YouTube that says, hey, other people might like this video as well. It's a lot less awkward than sharing it with your friends directly. In addition, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That gives you the opportunity to follow the series and anything else that I'm doing, like those top 10 episodes. And there's a link tree in the description below, but honestly, link tree is going to go away pretty soon. Twitch.tv/Runt9 plays 5 days a week, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Best way to follow the other stuff, Twitter @Runt9 plays, and Discord. You can find the Discord link in the link tree, but I'm going to have a better Discord link soon anyways. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Until the next episode, I'm Runt9, and I'll see you later.